You know, I have been thinking of things. So, why is it that whenever we grow up, everything that made our childhoods just seems to fall apart? Like, when I was a kid, I used to watch Milo and Otis, a movie about a pug and a ginger cat adventuring throughout the land together. The cat gets stuck in a box floating down the river, and the pug, tries to save him. The pug Otis fights a bear in order to save his friend Milo. Milo goes through all these hardships. And eventually, Milo and Otis, they start families of their own, and they have left the farm together. They thought this world was so big when they were on that farm. But then when they left the farm, they realized that the world was bigger. And that once they had families, they realized that there were more important things than trying to make a chick believe that they aren't the mother and the chicken over there is the mother. But then, after a few years after watching it, like 7 years after watching it, I found out that back when the movie was made, animal rights weren't really concerned to filmmakers. So, I learned the horrifying truth that the scene where Otis fights a black bear caused the deaths of many, many dogs. The scene where Milo falls down a waterfall in the box caused the deaths of many cats. And when I learned this, I thought, well, that just ruined everything for me. I am now unable to watch Milo and Otis without thinking of those poor animals that died during the filmmaking process. And same goes for a lot of things, like Robin Williams. I'm sure that a lot of you out there have watched at least one movie where Robin Williams was in it. Watched Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, or Fern Gully. Or maybe you watched his comedy shows, his stand-up comedy, his improv, whatever. But then it turns out that he was depressed and committed suicide. And suddenly you can't watch anything with Robin Williams without thinking of how his life ended. There are many, many things that made our childhood that became just ruined And why is that? Why is it that whenever there's a memory that we made as a child, that memory gets defiled as we get older? Imagine if you were like an overweight kid and you saw those Subway commercials with Jared Fogle talking about how he lost weight by eating Subway and walking every day. But then later on you found out that he was a pedophile. It doesn't even have to be, something like a TV show or a movie. It could also be watching YouTube. I mean, like, Mini Lad, that guy made a lot of kids' childhoods. Like, he did so many good things for people, and what does he do? He uses his fame as a way to exploit others. He uses his fame as a YouTube star who had done charity to thousands and thousands of kids. He uses that to exploit someone for his own personal gain. I don't know what happens that makes, that makes things from our childhood just go away. And not only just go away, they slowly rot until they are unrecognizable. They go farther and farther into depravity. And you have no idea why. Why would they do something like this? You get that sense of betrayal, don't you think? You get that sense of betrayal. Like, you trusted this person. You liked this movie. Why did they have to do what they did? And then you see another kid enjoying the same thing you used to enjoy, and you have that ultimate choice. Either tell them the truth and spare them the pain of being betrayed, or you don't, and let them live in blissful ignorance for a while until they eventually find out. In the comments, I want you to answer this question, because personally for me, I would choose to tell them so that later they can be spared. It might seem like a dick move to tell them that this cute movie about cute animals was in fact awful behind the scenes, or that this kid becomes a drug addict in the future, or that this guy who voices this goofy alien creature in this movie gets bullied so hard that he almost committed suicide. Might seem like a dick move but later on, they might find something that actually hasn't been ruined yet. I have no idea. What do you all think? And also, what was something from your childhood that got ruined for you? You know? Like a movie, a show, an actor or actress, a person on the internet. What was something that got ruined for you? Because I know the experience I had is universal. There has never been a person who has watched a movie and every actor in that movie has been squeaky clean. There's never been a kid who has liked a song and didn't find out that the singer was a drug addict or beat their wife or something. I'm sorry if this topic is a little dark. Sometimes I get thoughts like this. Like, I think of things like this because it has happened to me, and I know that it happened to other people. But the thing is, you can't be so goofy and serious, or not, I'm sorry, can't be so goofy and super wacky and funny all the time. That's just not human nature. Usually the people who are overly happy and enthusiastic about everything are putting on a face, like a mask. They're lying. They're lying about their true feelings. They're lying about practically everything if they put on that facade of being super enthusiastic and bombastic. We may not like it when people do serious talks like this because we don't like it when, people are negative. One time, a long time ago, for health class, our teacher put on a movie that was based off of a book. Someone Stole My Cheese, I think, was the title. And it was about two tiny miniature people in a maze, who lived in a maze, and their roommates were two mice, or their neighbors were two mice. One of the people was optimistic, and one of them was pessimistic. One day, when their hoard of cheese was taken away and moved to a different spot, the pessimistic one continued to believe that one day the cheese will return, and that if they leave, the cheese might return and they won't be there to eat it. The mice, when they learned that the cheese was gone, they went out into the maze to find it. And when the humans discovered it, that like when the cheese was gone, one of them, they both stayed for a while because one of them wasn't budging. He was adamant that the cheese would someday return. His friend, the optimistic one, eventually left to find the cheese. And the pessimistic man was left behind, alone, waiting for cheese to return. And I wonder, those two were great friends. Those two clearly cared for each other. They helped each other. They talked with each other. Like, they lived with each other, you know? They were friends. But the optimistic one just leaves because the pessimistic one was slowing him down. Yes, this whole thing is an analogy for when you have friends that keep bringing the mood down, and that they slow you down because of their pessimistic attitude, and that they make you less happy if you stay with them. But was it right for the optimistic person to leave the pessimistic one behind, alone, with no cheese? Was it right of him to abandon his friend for cheese? Is it right to abandon your friend because he's slowing you down? Is it right to leave and make new friends that are more like you just because your other friend wasn't as happy as you were? Would it be better to leave them or to stay and try and help them? I don't know. But that has terrifying implications when you put it on a larger scale. Because if someone said, should society abandon depressed people, you would of course say, no, they shouldn't. But when you put it on a smaller scale, should two friends split up if one of them was bringing the other down with pessimism? You would say, of course, they should split up. But why were they friends in the first place? What brought them together that made them spend so much time with each other? You could say that the optimistic one didn't know that he should have left that person behind way, way earlier before they officially became friends. He should have known that this person's pessimism would bring him down later in life. Or do you think that, do you think that the pessimistic one used to be friendly and optimistic, but then fell down into a downward spiral? I have no idea. These are all complicated questions that, regular people can't answer. And I'm sorry for giving you that sort of choice or something, or putting that in your mind. I'm sorry for putting those thoughts into your mind. If you were having a good day, continue to have a good day. This was just a passing thought for me that I turned into a video that's like 20 or so minutes long. It was just a passing thought that I decided to capitalize on and turn it into a new video, because I noticed that no one really leaves comments on my other videos except for the talking one. The one where I talked for like 6 minutes or so was the one that got a comment. And I wonder, if I do more of these discussions, would more people comment? I'm not going to stop cooking videos, though. I love cooking. But I wonder, should I keep with the philosophical discussions? Or do you think that they would bear too much weight onto your mind? Anyways, this has been Jacob Nathaniel Cox in Sonneman, Illinois. I bid you a good night or a good morning, depending on where you are. Bye.